Well, thanks for whoever gave that first clap. I appreciate it a lot. Again, I'm Dave Halsema, Executive Vice President, FreightRover, and this is Doug Wakefield, our Chief Technology Officer, and we appreciate being here today. What if you could own your own private load board to deal with your own carriers? What if you could set rules in that load board that allowed you to control rate as loads got quicker and closer to the pickup and somebody hasn't taken it? What if your carriers could review and accept those loads in as little as 2 clicks? And what if you could pay your carriers the way they want to be paid in today's ultra-competitive environment? We at FreightRover sit around every day and ask ourselves, what if? Our what if is combining innovation and technology to solve the logistics problems for shippers and brokers and 3PLs in the marketplace today. So let's get started. So as you can see up here, our main interface allows our customers to be able to interact with all the different services that FreightRover offers to its customers. Today we're going to concentrate on 2 of our key differentiators in the marketplace, and the first one is our Freight Exchange. The Freight Exchange is built as a proprietary white-labeled interaction platform for shippers and brokers and 3PLs to be able to interact with their carriers. So the carrier believes it is their load board, not a massive one that's FreightRover's or anybody else's. Our system is built on the free flow of data exchanges through our integrations with our TMS partners or through direct integrations through our robust SaaS platform. So our first step is we're going to take a look at how the shipper or the 3PL utilizes and uses our system. The exchange has been designed, like as I said, to be white labeled and to give them the ability to interact with their carriers. We're going to show you in this system quickly how you set up loads and how you set rules for those loads to allow you to be able to interact with those carriers. So on this screen, we've already have a load that's been put in there, and once all those shipment details are loaded into the platform, then you're ready to apply the rules so you know how you're going to interact with your carriers. In the rules management screen, there's a number of different things that you can take into effect and how you do it. You can build out as many rule sets as you want based upon your customer, your carrier, or the individual people within your organization. So the first example that I'm going to show you is the ability for you to decide which carriers in your ecosystem are going to see the loads and when. The great thing about this is then you know that only the carriers that you want are going to be able to see the loads that you want them to have the ability to bid on. And that can be changed at the customer level, the broker level, or at the carrier level of how you want to do that. So probably the next thing after you decide who's going to see the load and when, you want to take a look at rules about it. So in this instance, we have a static load where we're able to adjust the rate. In this instance, we have a load that we set the rate at 72 hours, and then automatically the load's going to adjust as it gets closer to delivery to match how the market might be. This can be done through percentages or through dollar amounts. You know, after all the shipments, detail, and the rules are in place, let's take a quick look at about how the carrier interacts with it. We're going to show you 2 examples. The first one is our mobile app. And in the mobile app, at the driver level, they're able to take a peek at what's there. So here's an example that we have that load we talked about before from Denver to Atlanta. We have a carrier who has access to it, and then that carrier is able to see the load, and then they can skim through and pick the one that makes the most sense. They view and they can accept. The next option beyond using our mobile app is through our interface. And on this one, you're going to be able to see there's also the ability to bid on loads. And in that bid, the carrier has the ability to offer a rate up, and then the shipper can accept it. Those are the other 2 rules in our rate engine. We have the ability to put in a load with a range, and the first carrier to give you a rate within the range is awarded the load, or you can do a true bid process that allows them to take bids in and then choose the carrier that comes closest that matches their needs. So once the rules have been applied and the carriers accepted the load, then we move on to what happens when the load's in transit. The load's in transit, the customer is able to see tracking through either MacroPoint or any platform you want, the ability to load into the platform documented paperwork through TransFlow or whoever, and then that finals the load. So the great thing about this is we had a process that gets us to the point now where the shipper has viewed the load, they've reviewed the paperwork, and at the same time, then they can get the product ready to pay. That involves then our next product offering, which is Pay Engine. Pay Engine is designed to give shippers the opportunity to have a single platform to be able to interact with their carriers, and while they're doing accounts payable, only deal with FreightRover for payment. We take over all of the AP for our customers, thus freeing them up to deal in other more important items as far as auditing or things that drive the business. When a shipper is using our portal, as you can see, here's a quick example of it being white labeled. They can review invoices, they can view payment history, and then they can look at any way they're managing and release payments to the carrier. The carrier has the exact same opportunity to review open payments from the shipper, then to be able to review payment history, and then be able to see the status. Both of these are game changers for the folks in the industry. By automating the payment process and freeing up time, it allows them to be able to deal with their carriers and pay them in the way they want to be paid. In today's ultra-competitive marketplace, first-class shippers and 3PLs need products that keep them ahead of their competition, as well as give them platforms that meet or exceed the large provider carriers. As I said earlier, we sit down and we think about the what-ifs every day. What we are hopeful and what we believe and know we've brought to the market is our customers don't have to sit around and ask what if either. Thank you.